Links im Track, also sollte noch jemand sich in der Bahn befinden, dann sagen wir gleich einmal, jetzt wird die Bahn räumen, denn in wenigen Augenblicken geht es hier los. Startfreigabe ist erteilt worden, Track ist clear. Spurbox Nummer 1, Team Henry Stefan. Angekommen, auch dabei für das Team Alexander. So, wir haben heute insgesamt 20 am Start bei den Frauen, 19 waren gemeldet, alle die Schweizer waren abgemeldet. Teams am Start. 3 davon kommen aus Deutschland. Laura Nolte zusammen mit Deborah Baby. vierte Schwurmale Team Nostala ist im Ziel angekommen. Die offizielle Bahnzeit 11:44 Uhr. 5 Minuten noch, dann geht's los mit dem ersten Durchgang in der Zweierbob-Entscheidung der Damen. 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes to start the first heat of the two women Bobsleigh competition. And the first team is the
Hello, good morning and welcome back to Altenberg in Saxony as we are ready for the first day of a new World Cup season for women's bobsleigh and four-man Sunday, four-man day as always. But this morning the women will get their two-seat bobsleigh competition underway after yesterday saw the beginning of the monobob season. Well, the track in Altenberg is always a challenge, and certainly in the mixed conditions we've had over the last couple of days, that has added to that. Quite a lot of snow on Friday for Skeleton, a little bit of snow yesterday evening as well during the monobob race. Enough to cut it down to a single heat though. For the women, well, it's clear and crisp, should be pretty fast. Whether the start record set by Lana Taylor and Jasmine Jones will be challenged or not remains to be seen. Brianna Jones, I beg your pardon. Curve 4 is going to be one of the key areas, particularly in these two-seat sleds, to get a clean exit from 4 and into 5 and 6. And then out of turn 9, down the straight, trying to avoid any skids. Coming over to driver's left to get onto the Kreisel. First pressure, second pressure, third pressure. And then into this very quick 11-12 changeover. Looks much less dramatic from on board than it usually is. Over the brow out of 14, important to be straight there and carry speed uphill through 15, 16 and 17 across the line. So Laura Nolte, Deborah Levy setting a track record here in February's race, which they won. And the start record dates back to January 2018. So, like the start record in the monobob, a long, long time for that to still be alive. You can see the athletes warming up in the car park behind the start area. Pretty clear this morning. No slush, no ice. It's a cool, crisp morning. And that means that the ice should hopefully be in very good condition. And we've got plenty of former winners on this track, not the least of whom is Kaylee Humphries. Humphries has a special relationship with Altenberg, a really remarkable run of successes she's had on this track. It's almost her home track, Keisha Love, warming up. So our start list, well, there were 20 sleds on the list, but this morning Deborah Annan has finally succumbed to the heavy cold stroke flu that she's been struggling with all week. She will not start. She was due to be 18th off, so no debut in the World Cup in the women's bob for Deborah Annan or for Julie Leuenberger, her brakewoman. That will have to come maybe next time out in Sigulda. Opening race of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. We're in Altenberg in Germany. To get us underway, Kelly van Petegem, the 25-year-old, had her birthday on Tuesday this week. And Lisa Buckwitz, her brakewoman, 21, making her World Cup debut. It's only the third World Cup start in the front seat for Kelly. 16th in yesterday's monobob race. She started just one World Cup as a brakewoman. She spent a lot of time in Europe Cup, but also as the World Cup alternate for Anne Nieuwenhuis, who's currently coaching her. And Anne with her 11-week-old daughter on tour. So it's not just the athletes that have got babies to get home to. Well, pretty smooth run so far from Kelly. 6:09 start. And nice out of 14. Pretty clean. Out of 17 across the line. 57.56. Well, that is 1.5 seconds off the track record, so quite a lot closer to top speed than we were seeing yesterday in the lightly falling snow in the monobob race. So debut then completed for, at least started for, her brakewoman Lisa Buckwitz. Kelly made her debut in St. Moritz in January last year. It's her first World Cup drive in women's bob. And Lisa has had one previous race. Lillehammer in December 2023, she raced in Europe Cup. And so she's made her World Cup debut. There's Kelly. They are the early leaders, just one sled down. Next up, 7th World Cup start. Also relatively inexperienced, Linda Wyszewski raced yesterday in the monobob to 15th place. Claudia Adamek behind her, a new recruit making her debut, the 25-year-old, no bobsleigh races. She is a Polish national team 4x100 and 4x200 sprinter. World Relay Gold in 4x2, World Relay Silver in 4x1. So 5:69. A new recruit to the Polish team. Great to see Poland starting to rebuild their bobsleigh program. If you're going to start anywhere in bobsleigh, Altenberg and Sigulda are possibly two of the toughest tracks to have your debut on. Nice exit. Good stuff out of corner 9 from Linda Wyszewski. She should have highest speed here. Transponder's not working on the sled, so we're not getting live speeds, but you can see she's 6/10 up on Kelly van Petegem, but has a big hit. Whoa, how did she get away with that? I want to see that in slow-mo. It did look as the sled went away as if it was on its side and came back up. 57.19. Well, she has the lead. I'm not sure her brakewoman has got enough experience to realise quite what was going on there, other than they were bouncing around a bit. I want to see that going away shot, 11.12. So, 2 sleds in, 2 new brakewomen. Okay, so here we go, big height, boom, big hit in 11 and 12, but the going away shot, it did go over and it came back. Wow, haven't seen that. Big skid out of 14. Well, there you go. Wyszewski drawing breath. Georgeta Popescu for Romania, youth gold champion in the Olympics in 2020. Finished 19th in the mono yesterday. Antonia Sabu, her brakewoman, also drove in the Youth Olympic Games 2020. She was 13th. This is her 4th World Cup start. 6:08. So whisker quicker than Kelly van Petegem. Georgeta still only 22, so is Antonia, her brakewoman. 4th World Cup race for the duo together. finished in 10th place here in January 2023, but did not race here in the most recent World Cup in February of this year. Second best speed, so behind Linda Wierzchewski. Little late flop out of the Kreisel. More comfortable 11-12. Let's see how she comes out of 14. Little tap, you can see how glossy the track looks after lots of track prep by the crew. Ice here is always phenomenal. 57.56. That's a familiar sounding time. It's exactly the same as set by Kelly van Petegem. So Kelly van Petegem, Georgetta Popescu tied to the 100. 100th faster at the start, Georgetta. Didn't maintain that slenderest of advantages all the way down. Not a bad looking Kreisel, but she did flop off the end. A skid and a tap. There she is, with her brakewoman, Antonia, alongside. So last year's winner, or February's winner, last season's winner on this track, Laura Nolte, with Deborah Levy behind her. 35th Women's Bobsleigh World Cup start for Lara, and in her previous 34 races, she's had 29 medals. The Olympic bobsleigh champion. Took gold here yesterday. 4 previous World Cup outings on this track. Gold, 2 silvers and a bronze. And for Deborah Levy, her 15th World Cup start. 12 medals in those 15 starts. A 4th, a 6th and a crash, I think, are the other 3 results with Lara. Nice looking exit, just eases the sled across, thinks it over into the Kreisel. Textbook stuff. Little skid there, out of 12 in 13. Keep it clean out of 14, no, little drift from 14. She's going to be our leader by a sizable margin. Big height in 15 and hits the wall, but a new track record, 55.99. So 900s inside the old track record that these two set in the race in February. It was cold and hard there in November. You don't always get that ice. A cold overnight low and sunny-ish conditions in the morning are absolutely optimal. Yeah, big early height there in 4. It wasn't the tidiest run. Again, out of 14, watch the sled break sideways over that brow, puts her low into 15. That was the big height. Deborah Levy on the right, Laura Nolte on the left. Alana Myers-Taylor, 96th women's race, beg your pardon. 15 of those were in her career as a brakewoman. She has 50 World Cup medals in women's bobsleigh, including wins here. Today, she also crashed on her last outing here. She's got Emily Renner behind her in her 10th World Cup start since her debut November 2023. And Emily Renner hit the big time immediately. First race in the World Cup, bronze medal with Kaylee Humphries. So good, strong start. She's had a couple of crashes on this track, Alana. It's not her favourite track. I think that would be fair to say. Not a bad exit out of 9. Quarter of a second back, second best speed. And brand new sled being used by Alana and by Kaylee this weekend. Built by Mark Vandenberg in Lake Placid, the MUSA sleds. We saw the 4-man debuted last season. These are the 2-man sleds, 56.49. And the intention is to try and make something that is aerodynamically sound advantageous, has room for a two-man crew, particularly the men as well as the women, but also has the same feel that they're used to. That's where she went over in the mono. And came out of 12 and broadside all the way down to 13 out of 15. Not the tidiest run. A bit of a scramble, but she got it down. Alana on the left, Em on the right. 30th World Cup start for our next slider. Laura Nolte, the leader after the first 5 sleds. And the Swiss cowbells for Melly Hasler. And welcome back also to new mum, Nadia Pasternak. 12 months ago, she was going into labour. She had her baby daughter, Noelle, a day later, and she is back in harness. So first race back, her 28th World Cup. Her last race was in Innsbruck in February 2023. Now finished 14th in the monobob yesterday. Didn't have the best of runs. So last year, Alana Myers-Taylor was the new mum. We have 2 new mums in the field, with Nadia Pasternak on the back of Melanie Hasler's sled, and of course Kaylee Humphries coming up later. Third best speed for the Swiss sled. Now the Swiss were making good speed in the two-man race. Nice looking lines as well from Mel. Good exit at 14. 6/10 back. Can she close on Alana Myers-Taylor? No, not enough. 6,500s back, 1,500s behind Alana.
The time after the first heat and third place currently for team.
Then you saw Julia Leuenberger, who won't be racing with Deborah Annan today. Unfortunately, they'll have to make their World Cup debut a little later. But Mel Hasler and the returning Nadia Pasternak. So Nadia's 28th World Cup start and a 30th for Melly. Nice looking run down the straight. Just what you need. There you are. The friends are back together. 7th of our sleds. Heat 1, race 1 of the IBSF Women's Bobsleigh World Cup for 2024-25. And it's Germany's Kim Kilicki. Finished 4th in the mono, silver here in the race in February. She's got Lauren Siebert behind her. Lauren in only her 4th World Cup race. Made her debut in St. Moritz in January of this year with Lisa Buckwitz. And has raced with Lisa on her previous 3 appearances. So in with Kim Kilicki. And Kilicki's regular brake woman, not quite healthy yet. So Leonie Fiebig would normally be with Kim, but she was ill in the summer, not yet ready to race again. Look forward to seeing her back in harness soon. Best speed of all for Kim Kilicki. Tiny margin to Laura Nolte. Still 800s, still best speed. Only a whisker quicker than Nolte. Whoa, big height. Oh, and in real trouble in 14. There it all goes. She was getting very close, and this will be quarter second back or worse. 4 to 100s back. One tiny error had big, big consequences. Berry's ahead in the cow. Drat, drat, and double drat. 2023 World Champion, Kim Kilicki. Back in St. Moritz, but look at this, huge height. Boom, into 13. Oh. And there, it's real reflexes to stop the sled going over if you can. And we saw all the ice being carved up there. Oh, she can't believe it. She can't believe it. Silver medalist in February. going to be a struggle to repeat that. Lisa Buckwitz, mono silver yesterday, 14th World Cup as a driver out of 38 in total, and Nele Skuten behind her. Nele in her 12th World Cup. Had her first 2 races with Lisa Buckwitz before being picked up for Laura Nolte's crew. Back with Lisa, 5:58 getaway, puts them right in the frame, matching Laura Nolte for the start. This is a track that Buckwitz gets on with very well. She was only 9th in February's race, but she has won here. Olympic champion in 2018 as a brake woman. Ooh, little skid and a tap, and there goes to speed. She was 700ths up, only the 3rd best speed. She'll be a 10th down. Oh, only 100th down, 4th best speed though. Laura Nolte, quickest of all. 1400ths back, she will be 2nd at the line. 1900ths back, best speed at the bottom of the track.
Time for Team Buckwitz in 2nd place currently after the first heat.
So 56.18. Only a 10th off the old record. Always lots of fans for the Germans, and Lisa Buckwitz no different. Her family are here this weekend. Little rattles down the straight into the Kreisel, and out of 14. Look how polished the surface is. If you make any mistakes going over that brow, the sled just breaks away. There's Nele on the right, Lisa on the left. We get next to Cynthia Appiah, 34-year-old Canadian in her 26th women's race as a driver, 12 as a brake woman. Sort of think she might have done more than that. Debut for 24-year-old Skylar Sieben, her brake woman. Skylar with no official races, just training. Let's see what this young woman has got. Just 24, 586. Eighth place here in February. Cynthia, best result in Altenberg is a 7th place finish. That was in January's January 23 racing, first of the 2 weekends. Her World Cup best, a 4th place finish in Innsbruck. A little late off 9 to straighten it up down the straight, and only the 6th best speed. Rattles the wall out of the Kreisel. We've got a tie for 7th place between Kelly van Petegem and Georgetta Popescu, and at the moment Cynthia Appiah is just ahead of that, and she comes across the line at 57.12, actually only 700ths ahead of Laura Wyszewski of Poland, of Linda Wyszewski of Poland. So nice little battle shaping up there. 6th place for Cynthia at the moment. And another debutante, Skylar Sieben for Canada, makes her debut in bobsleigh, and at the highest level, and on one of the toughest tracks. I'm assuming that everybody sort of gently eased her into the fact that this is the one that scares the willies out of everybody. So 3 brand new brake women. We're only 9 sleds into the field. And our 4th brand new brake woman is behind Keisha Love. Keisha in her 8th World Cup as a driver, 9 she had as a brake woman. 27-year-old, won here in January 2023 behind Kaylee Humphries. I like the start routine. 25-year-old rookie Bailey Golden, her first official bobsleigh race. A heptathlete that missed out on the US Olympic trials by just 1 spot. Competed for Oklahoma State. 5.76, that's a strong getaway. thump from 3 into 4 for Keisha. Into the upper labyrinth, 7 and 8, and then into corner 9. Ooh, late flop off 9. She was in 2 minds, brought it down a fraction too early. Centrifugal force got to her. Not a bad looking Kreisel, but rattles the wall on the exit. 6/10 back, 8th best speed. She is currently ahead of Linda Wierzchewski of Poland. Top 7 run for Keisha Love across the line. 6th place ahead of Cynthia Appiah by a 10th. So she kept it really clean at the bottom. Her best result as a driver is a bronze medal. This is her first race as a driver here in Altenberg, and a debut for Bailey Golden, the Oklahoma State cowgirl heptathlete. (11:12) transition, bumpy as you like. Didn't roll too high up it. Everybody's worried a little bit about that. There's Bailey on the left-hand side. So her debut is done. 10 sleds in. Laura Nolte leads from Lisa Buckwitz and Kim Kalicki, with Alana Myers-Taylor chasing and heading the pack. Next up, Great Britain's Adele Nichol. 5th World Cup start for Adele as a driver. 4 she had as brakewomen, and Fami right behind her. Rispat Fabuni Aladi, her brakewoman, making her 2nd World Cup start. Her debut was in Innsbruck in February 2023 with Nikki McSweeney. Fabs is a 60, 100, 200 metre sprinter. First time here for Adele Nichol. Well, 9th best start at 5:95. Finished 13th in the monobob yesterday. Little rattle into 5. A top 10 finish would be very handy on this track. Best result of her short driving career so far was a silver medal in Lake Placid, the final race of last season. Oh, long skid out of 14. She had got up to 8th place on the splits. That's going to drop her back, and she's in 9th place, 57.20 run. So she's 3/10 ahead of Kelly van Petegem and Georgetta Popescu.
The time
and 100 behind Linda Wierzchewski of Poland. So another good battle shaping up there. She's 800s behind Cynthia Appiah. 1800s behind Keisha Love, who's currently in 6th. So be running it a long way down. Just gets in as the drive lines are ending, but she gets in relatively smoothly. So she held herself up until she could wriggle in cleanly. They're out of 14. Oopsie, that was a 10th at least, maybe getting on for 2. Now then, bronze medalist yesterday and bronze medalist in February here, Andrea Grecu, her 47th World Cup start as a driver. Teodora Vlad behind her, 22nd women's bobsleigh race for Teodora. 21 of those have been in 2-seat sleds, because her World Cup debut in Koenigsegg in January 2018 was in an all-female 4-man. Remember those? Andrea had a career as well as a brakewoman. This is her 64th women's bobsleigh outing in the front or back seat. 5th best speed, not a bad looking Kreisel, nice exit as well. 4th best speed. She's challenging for a top 6 run off the 8th best start. She's a little left coming into 15, but handles it nicely. Where's she going to be? 5th place, 6th place, At the line, it is 6th position, just ahead of Keisha Love. I say just, actually 3/10 ahead of Keisha Love, and only 0.08 of Melanie Hassler in 5th. So bronze medal in her last 2 outings on this track, 1 in February in women's bob, 1 yesterday in mono. It is a track that she gets on well with. When she's on form, that form seems to have returned this year. Last year, she just looked, in most races, no matter what the sled, just a bit lost. She lost her mojo. Theodora on the left, Andrea on the right. Now then, here is Austria's Kathi Beil, 51st World Cup start. Anna Schenk behind her, her 9th World Cup. Only her 4th, though, for Austria, because she started as an Italian athlete. And actually, strictly speaking, this is her 10th World Cup start, though she's only done 9 in women's bobsleigh. Again, she raced in 4-man. Now, that was in Lillehammer last year. One of the Austrian 4-man crew was not fit to go, and so Anna Schenk joins the crew in the men's race. Mixed crews were a thing back when it was 5-man bobsleigh in the early 1900s and 10s and 20s. Haven't really been since then. Nice exit. 10th best speed of the 10th start. Ooh, just a little hard on the transition, but she gets away with that. 7th best speed. Is this going to be a top 10 run at the line? If she's clean through the bottom, it should be. Kathi Beil ends up in 11th place, 57.22. So how far behind Adele Nicol? 0.02 of a second behind Adele Nicol in 10th, 0.03 of a second behind Linda Wierzchewski in 9th, 1/10 behind Cynthia Apia in 8th, 2/10 behind Keisha Love in 7th. So this traditional log jam between sort of 6th place and 15th, 16th, oh, she missed the handle, almost missed the handle with both hands. Barely got it with her left hand, completely missed it with her right hand. Well, she'll be annoyed with herself for that. A whisker late off 9, but it came straight. She knew what was happening. She's always got that little bashful smile. Oops. For France now, the blonde sisters, not sisters, Margot Bock and Carla Seneschal. Margot's only raced here in Europe Cup, and that was back in 2019, so first World Cup race here in Altenberg. Her 15th World Cup start, a 10th for Carla. 5.82 getaway. Finished just outside the top 10 in the monobob. Margot, she made that mistake in both runs as well. Out of 2, tapping the wall before the luge entry. Nice out of 6. Smooth through 7 and 8. Sets you up nicely for corner 9. The exit here is key. It's a tap and a skid and another tap. But it does eventually leave her in about the right place for the Kreisel. 9th best start. The speed, ooh, is dropping away, and a rocky 11.12. Still 9th best speed. This might be a top 10 run around Adele Nicol, Kathi Beil territory. Nicol is 10th, Beil is 11th, and Bock is 12th. So she is 500s behind Kathi Beil, 700s behind Adele Nicol, and 800s behind 9th place Linda Wierzchewski. So 4 sleds covered by 800s. There'll be a bit of a sort out in the second heat. See, I'm selling this as a given. They might easily come down in the same order. They might easily not. Oh, 11-12. Oh. And that was a late crossover. So she was late on to 11, late through the crossover, very late on to 12. There's the glamour as they hump the sled out of the way to clear the track for the next athletes. Victoria Czernanska and Lucia Makrosova of Slovakia. 11th World Cup race for this duo. Victoria, the Youth Olympic silver medalist in 2020. Both made their World Cup debut in Winterberg, January 2023. First European race of last season. And the World Cup best. 2 9th place finishes, Sigulda in 2023 and here in Altenberg as well. Finished in 10th in February's race here, so a top 10 finish should be on the cards. Her 2 previous races here have both been in the 10. 5:98 getaway, 13th best start. She does drive nicely. Little tap there, going into 4 and exiting 4 into 5. One leads to the other. A little hard on to 7. Out of 9, needs to come straight, gets a tap and a skid. Eventually puts her onto driver's left for Kreisel. Big second pressure, looking for the exit. Hits the wall on the exit of the Kreisel. 11-12, not too bad. 9th best speed. Is she going to overhaul Margot Bock? Little tap coming out of 14 as well. One of these mistakes robbing the sled of speed. 13th place behind Margot Bock. She's sort of halfway between the French and the tie behind her of Belgium and Romania. Again, ahead of Giulietta Popescu, the woman who beat her in the Youth Olympic Games. 57.39 run, 1.4 seconds back, 1200s behind Margot Bock. Just too many little taps. Timing not quite right, and again conditions very different, I'm sure, from yesterday in the evening in the light snow of the monobob race. Looks like the sleds are running a lot freer than they were yesterday and catching the athletes out by how much more quickly they're getting onto corners. Germany top 3, Alana Myers leads the chasing pack. 50 sleds down. And 4 to go. Here's Melissa Lottholz making her debut as a driver. Leah Walkenden in her 11th World Cup start as a brakewoman. All her previous starts with Cynthia Appiah. And Melissa Lottholz, her last race as a brakewoman was in Sochi in February 2015. So seems like much more recently than that, but it definitely wasn't. She's been learning to drive, raced in the World Championships in Winterberg. She was the North America's Cup champion. Ooh, not a comfortable run out of Altenberg. Notorious corner 9. Down the straight, losing speed. Nice exit from 11 and 12. Good here. She's going to pick up speed. 8th fastest start. Was up to 7th, drifted away. This should be maybe 9th place at the line. It is 9th place at the line, 57.17. So she too is in that log jam. And she is 500s behind Cynthia Appiah. There's the battle. 1500s behind Keisha Love in 7th. So Keisha Love, Cynthia Appiah, Melissa Lottholz, Linda Wierzchewski, Adele Nicol, Katy Bile, Margot Bock, Victoria Czernanska. That's the blender of sleds that will have the button pressed in the second heat. Might be 1 or 2 more in there. Again, you eradicate even one of those big errors and you've got a 10th or 2 more at the line. But Altenberg is a tough track to drive. Now then, Kaylee Humphries with Jasmine Jones. Kaylee returning to her favourite track. She's had 16 World Cup races here. She's had 6 wins, 4 bronze medals, and 2 monobob wins. A 3-time world champion, including 1 in monobob. She's got plenty of experience on this track. Little off form yesterday in the monobob, only 7th fastest. But with Jasmine Jones behind her, she's got a good solid dart. Just about top 10 starting, 583. Ooh, little rocky. Jasmine Jones's last race on this track was with Alana Myers-Taylor. And Alana dumped them on their heads. That was in February. Nice exit, 6th best speed. So this MUSA sled going very nicely indeed. 4th best speed for Kaylee Humphries. She knows this track as well as the Germans. Look at this run, a little late off 15 if you're being picky. 6th place finish off an 11th best start. Mark Vandenberg there on the left-hand side, sled builder.
Team in 6th place currently for Team Humphries USA.
Cracking drive from Kaylee Humphries. 400s behind Melly Hasler. And what is she? 2800s out of the medals. That might be unachievable. And in her first race back since becoming a new mum with her baby on tour, in a brand new sled as well. And after years of racing the BTCs, with which she'd become so comfortable, that's a great first run from Kaylee Humphries. No Deborah Annan, so next up is Sylvia Hoffman, our 3rd US sled. She's got Justina Matson behind her. Justina's 3rd World Cup women's race, a 2nd for Sylvia. Made her driving debut in the women's bob in Lake Placid. 581. So 10th best start, but already 8th best velocity. And that's a great bonus to get not across the 50 meters fast, but to carry speed as well. Rattles 5. Well, we saw in her monobob drive yesterday, she's not intimately familiar with this track. Did a lot of learning on US tracks, but also on some Euro Cup tracks. 12th best speed. At the moment, Alana Myers-Taylor in 4th, and Kaylee Humphries in 6th position. Where's Sylvia Hoffman going to end up? Keisha Love is in 8th. And across the line with a 57.51, 16th place at the moment for Sylvia Hoffman. And if you're wondering why the USA has 4 spots, now this is exactly what happened last year with Alana Myers-Taylor. If they have other drivers who are qualified for the World Cup, they have 3 spots. A driver returning from maternity leave is given a spot, and if she's still qualified, and does not take up one of the other team's spots. So last year, Alana with a 4th US spot, even though they only had 3 in their allocation. This year, Kaylee Humphries is that. Well, there's Justina on the right, Keisha on the left. Final sled is another debutante, Sarah Blizzard. Well, she's been a brakewoman, 10 races with Bree Walker as a brakewoman, and the return of Ashley Werner. Well, Ashley in her 5th World Cup. Her debut was in Innsbruck in November 2021, and her last of her previous 4 World Cup races was in Sigulda in Latvia in January 2022. And she is back. 21st place in the monobob yesterday for Sarah Blizzard. 5:06, 17th best start. So making her World Cup debut, rattles 5. And if they safely complete the first heat, they will get a second heat as well. She didn't get a second run yesterday, only the top 20 went through out of 23. 16th best speed. 17th start, She drifted out to 19th place with those mistakes early on, but she could pick up ground over Kelly van Petegem and Georgetta Popescu. A couple of taps in the far section at the bottom, not going to help. Where is she? 19th at the line. Okay, so a 58-10.
Is currently for Team Blizzard. Die Bahn ist jetzt gesperrt.
So that is the first heat of the women's bobsleigh season completed. 19 sleds down and done. All will go through into the second heat. Out of 14, just allow the sled to meander a little bit sideways. And then late on to 15, clatters the wall. But she has made her World Cup driving debut and drags Werner back out of retirement. You're going to have to stop waving your hand around if you want the camera to pick it up. I'm afraid my eyes aren't good enough for that. So our first heat leader is Laura Nolte with Deborah Levy behind her. Laura, the winner here. Our Olympic gold medal winning duo reunited, as Peaches and Herb would say. That reference especially for Ken Childs. I know he's a massive fan. So it's a German 1-2-3, but look who's racked up behind. Alana, Mel and Kaylee with Andrea Grecu, and then the all-star bare-knuckle slugging match that is Keisha Love, Cynthia Appiah, Linda Berszewski, Adele Nickel, Katy Bile, Margot Bock, and then behind them Victoria Chananska with Sylvia Hoffman, Kelly van Petegem, Georgetta Popescu will all be going at it. Sarah Blizzard will be the first off in our second heat, and that will be at 13:15 local, which is 12:15 GMT. That is 07:15 Eastern. And that is in just over 40 minutes from now.